Molly,
Present.
Mann,
Present.
Vice Mayor, Vice Chairman Christ,
Present.
Chairman Paris, absent.
Move
We have a
to,
quorum.
yeah, move to excuse Mayor Paris and Darrell Doors.
I second that.
You guys, we're going to run a really good meeting this time. I'll let you speak last time. We're going to run a really tight meeting, so it's not going to get crazy. So we're excusing them because of the protocol that they're taking for their COVID. So that's the reason why. So we have a motion and a second. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion passes unanimously. Do we have someone for the invocation? Okay, we'll waive it. Where's Mr. Grooms? Larry, you want to do the pledge?
Please rise, face the flag. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For as long as it stands.
Okay. Consent calendar. We have no speaker cards on any of the consent items. I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the consent calendar as comprised.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second. Let's vote. Passes with 3 yes votes. We'll go to PH1. We'll get to PH2 in a second. This shouldn't take long. PH1, Larissa,
Can we open the public hearing?
we're going to open the public hearing.
Good evening, Vice Mayor Chris and members of the City Council. This item before you tonight is to adopt an ordinance to establish speed limits on 135 roadway segments and amending the Lancaster Municipal Code as it relates to speed limits. This project is part of a 3-year effort to evaluate approximately 263 segments, and it is also meant to comply with state and California Vehicle Code requirements to evaluate speeds through an engineering and traffic study. In 2019 and 2020, speed limits at 128 road segments were updated, and the remaining 135 segments are being evaluated as part of this study today. Additionally, this project is also in line with the city's goals to reduce speeds and improve traffic in the city overall. Based on the study this year, it is recommended that speed limits be decreased for 16 roadway segments, increased for 1, and reestablished the current speed limit for 118 segments. And with that, staff recommends that the City Council take action as shown in your staff report. Thank you.
Go over real quick for everyone in the audience who makes the rules as far as the speed limits.
It's established through a traffic and engineering study, as well as the 85th percentile.
So if we want to determine that we want to lower that speed limit from 55 to 30, we can't do it ourselves, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. Okay, we don't have any speaker cards on this.
For the record, though, we do have one written public comment submitted by Mr. Reeves that you have in front of you and is on file with the city clerk.
Ken?
Before you close the public hearing?
I'll close the public hearing.
So obviously you're looking to entertain a motion, so I'll make the motion to introduce ordinance number 1091.
Second that.
We have a motion and a second to introduce ordinance 1091. Let's vote. Passes with 3 yes votes. We'll move on to PH2. We have numerous cards. We usually speak 3 minutes. I'm going to limit it to 2 minutes. We can limit it to 1, but I think you can get, we got your drift last time. So we're going to.
I think, was this continued? I think it was continued from before, so I guess reopen the public hearing? Allison?
I'm sorry.
So,
Is it reopen from last time or just open it now?
We never opened because we weren't in a meeting.
Okay,
oh, that's right.
so I'll open the public hearing. Jason?
Vice Mayor, Council, thank you for.
Okay. Okay, for you, I understand that we ran out of speaker cards, so we have some being brought down. So they'll be in the back in a minute. Go ahead.
Vice Mayor, Council, thank you for the opportunity today to present to you. Tonight, we are asking you and recommending you approve Resolution 22-45 to increase the solid waste rates in order to comply with SB 1383 and to place waste hauling fees to be collected on the tax roll. Knowing that raising fees and placing those on the tax roll can be a controversial issue, it's important for us to share how we determine our recommendation and the reasoning behind it. First and foremost, it's our obligation as staff to assure compliance with all state laws. We must do this regardless of our belief in those laws and whether we believe they're effective or they're accurate or they're correct. We have an obligation to you and the community to follow those laws that are set out before us. In this case, I'm sure all of us in this room agree that this Senate bill is unnecessarily burdens our residents and all the residents of this state. Second, it is staff's obligation to implement these policies and procedures in the most economical and effective way possible and make recommendations as such. In this case, I believe our staff has done an amazing job negotiating with Waste Management to assure that they are implementing the legislation in the most effective and economical way. And lastly, when and where possible, we make recommendations that we believe make our operation more effective and efficient. In the case of placing the fees on the tax roll, we believe we are doing that. As to the changes we are recommending tonight, we are recommending a 12.75% increase to the solid waste fee to comply with the new state recycling laws. Just as background, the state passed legislation in 2016 that requires all cities and counties to no longer dump their green waste and organic waste in the landfill, which causes us to divert 100% of that waste to another location. As a result of that change, there are increased operational expenses that are incurred by our city and every city and county throughout the state. This 12.75% rate increase equates to a $4.12 per month increase to the standard rate and a $3.20 per month for the senior rate. And there was a gentleman that stopped me earlier who has flyers back there, flyers are to fill out to get that senior rate, so thank you for bringing that. We plan to do a robust community outreach to make sure that all of our seniors are aware of that opportunity to receive that rate reduction, and there are some forms in the back if they want to fill those out today. In comparison, we look to other cities and find out what they are asking their citizens to pay to compare how well we have done. We are much lower in that analysis. You need to look no further than our neighbor to the south, who is recommending a 20.5% increase to comply with the same state law. Our cities statewide are increasing their rates on average of 19%. While discussing the placement of these rates on the tax roll, we identified a number of benefits associated with this change and are also recommending that decision tonight. As you know, local laws require all residential properties to have trash service monthly. We know that there's a large percentage of our citizens who are not currently paying for trash services. We're not so concerned about them not paying for trash services, we're concerned about what they do with their trash. Because they do not have regular trash service, we have increased illegal dumping, stockpiling of trash on property, and frankly, it's not fair to the law-abiding citizens who are trying to do the right thing. In addition, your city spends nearly $2.5 million a year cleaning up illegal dumping, and it's not enough. And most important, the placement of these fees on the tax roll will not increase the fees, but provides a potential tax write-off for citizens because it's on their annual income taxes. Additionally, the placement of these fees on the tax roll requires a more robust process for any annual increases that may come in the future. I am sure we all agree that this legislation is not something we want to be doing. I bet everybody at the council level, because I know I've talked to you, and everybody in this room agree. But we live in a society of laws
that we are required to follow, and we are obligated through the oaths of office we take to you and the obligation we take to these citizens to make sure we follow those laws. We also are required and ordered by you to do that in the most efficient and economical way possible, and I believe the recommendations tonight accomplish both those ends. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Raj, questions? Ken?
I don't think I have any questions at this time, but I may later on, especially as people come up to speak.
So, the 44% rate increase to the seniors is just not accurate, correct?
Correct. The rate, you'll see on the chart up there, if you look at the current senior discounted rate, it's $25.11. There's an annual rate increase of 3.5%, which is not a decision tonight. That decision is made through the franchise, which brings, it's an 88-cent increase. The senior rate then is $25.99, plus the 12.7%, you're looking at a $3.20 rate increase, which is, approximately 15%.
Okay. And all the other different cities are incurring where we're 3.5%, they're incurring 8 to 10%?
Yes, typically franchise agreements are based on a CPI index, which is a consumer price index. Those can be done by a different number of different types of formulas. The one we had negotiated is a flat formula, which is not based on the increase, or it's based on the increase of CPI, but can go no higher than 3.5%. In many cases, with the cost of living, as we've seen nationwide, annual rate increases for waste hauling is going up far greater than the 3.5%.
The fuel alone is over 3.5.
Yeah. In some cases, the franchise agreements have a special line item for CPI
Just
for
fuel,
fuel,
fuel
which then
only.
even make it even higher.
Okay. We might have you come back up, Jason. Thank you. Okay, you guys, let's go through this. We'll listen to you. Let's not yell and scream at everybody. I don't want it to be sterile, but let's make it go as quickly as possible.
And for the record, I'm informed we do now have speaker cards at the back of the room, so anyone who was unable to get one, please grab one now. Thank you.
Okay. Larry, I'm going to start with you. Don't start his time and start him at 2 minutes.
Thank you.
Larry, I have a couple questions for you.
Yes, sir.
So I saw the press conference, and I don't understand from somebody like you that worked for the state how you can insinuate this is the city's problem and say it's a 44% rate increase. Isn't that a little misleading?
I found this whole process to be misleading, starting with the city's unique way of notifying the citizens of Lancaster that they were about to get hit by something that passed the legislature years ago, and as you put at the last meeting, you've been kicking the can down the road for several years. The first we heard about this was when you passed it in May, then later held a hearing on it, on something that had already been pre-decided. You know, when I really appreciate being given the honor of leading the pledge this evening, but you know, it occurs to me, we are a nation of laws, not of men. That's a nice thought. But there are times in history when the government, which is closest to the people, has to respond and speak truth to power, in which case, had that not happened earlier, we would have been pledging allegiance to the Union Jack. Now, what I'm saying is there are some things legally wrong. I'm not a lawyer. You have a very good lawyer who's not here, and we wish him well. But there are things that, for instance, how do you put something on the property tax rolls with with a bogus vote that says, well, if you don't show up, you're obviously in favor of it.
Larry, can I answer that? It's the tools that we're given by the state.
Yep.
So we're given those tools. I
Right.
face this at places like the sanitation district. So the sanitation district does the same thing with the 218, and it's referred to as a protest vote.
Okay.
So but it's the tools we're given by the state to make this happen.
But then there's state law as to how property taxes are to be charged, and there has to be a nexus between the service and the charge. And you're failing to show that here. What we're going to end up doing is you're going to end up voting for this because you think it's the right thing to do, and we can respect that. Then we're going to have to go out and raise some funds to get a public interest law firm to sue the city so that you can do the right thing rather than the political thing and the corporate thing. In God we trust, and we trust that you will also, and back up the people who elected you. And that's all I have to say, sir.
Okay.
Unless you have any questions for me.
Nope, it was good. I'll give you your 2 minutes now. I'll give you your 2 minutes uninterrupted if you want them.
You'll give me 2 minutes?
I will give you your 2 minutes. Those are questions I had for you.
Oh.
So I didn't want to take it.
I'm sorry. Yes, I did want to say a couple of things. That postcard thing, you have more writers on your staff in communications in City Hall than the local newspaper has on their staff. You would think that with that kind of talent and money and your access to television, video, mailing, the Outlook, and by the way, the Outlook article didn't mention any of the negatives about this thing. It talked only about it as in a very positive way. It was a sales piece, not a piece of government information. And the difference between news and propaganda is whether it has a smiley face on it. So that's all I wanted to say about that. I think you can do better. I think other cities in California would join you if you stood up and said, we're going to challenge the state of California. They ran this thing through before the COVID hit and changed the whole world. Now they're saying, well, it's an environmental thing to get rid of methane gas. Well, guess what? The methane gas that's going to be removed from our landfill is going up to Bakersfield to be turned into fuel for waste management's trucks. That's all I have to say about that.
Thank you, Larry. Roberta, it starts with a B. I would guess it's Boyle? Boyle. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for allowing me to speak. In the past, your information was accurate. The only thing I received about the trash going up was a thing from Waste Management, and they gave me a percentage to fill out. I tried it 3 different ways and couldn't get it to fill out, so I figured I'd wait for a bill. This was not advertised. The only way I found out is a friend called and said she was coming to this meeting. Why don't they just raise the tax like they usually do and leave out the county? I had something put on the county before, and it was supposed to be $75. Next year, it went up to $85, and then it went up to $150. So they could raise this little 4%, well, whatever it is, up. And I don't think the city should be in business with a private contractor. I don't know if it's legal or not. I'm not, Mayor Paris would know. I'm just concerned. It should be advertised. You usually advertise everything well. And I don't know, I feel like this is being like slipped under the rug. I don't know why, but that's the feeling I get. I just don't want the taxes to go on my tax bill. I want them to increase it like they have in the past. Okay, thank you. Oh, I still got time.
You have 30 seconds when that yellow light goes off.
I know, I just noticed that. Other than that, I'm happy, with the things that the city has done. I'm just not going to be happy because it's another increase for senior citizens who don't have the extra money, and it has the burden of all the taxes, the food prices, the gas. Thank you.
Thank you. Louise Padilla? Lutz? L-U-Z? Welcome.
Thank you. I was here the last time. Thank you all for coming. Again, like I told you, the way I computed this was per my bill. And what this gentleman is saying that it didn't go 44%, and you're saying that that's a lie. That's not a lie, because that's what my bill was. I don't know about other people here, how they computed it. Because see, a lot of them didn't get this card. So I'm mainly, giving them a copy of what this thing is. So maybe later or something, he can probably put out in writing how he computed that. And also, within this time frame, from the last time to this time, I received a bill from the Waste Management. And I was thinking, wow, they lowered it. Now I'm at 64.34. The last time I was 78.33. And I was looking. How come they lowered it? It's too good to be true. Until I looked at the dates. Instead of quarterly, now they're doing it every 2 months. So in fact, my bill went up again. Okay? So I'm just telling you what I'm getting. Like I said, I can't vouch for what they're getting, but some of them are also getting what I'm getting, and that's why we're all here. Like I said, the lady was right, this thing is not really advertised that everybody would get it. Like I told you, I was shocked that on my street, only I received it. I walk another street, only one person. I walk a long street, nobody got it. I walk another street, nobody got it. I walk another street, just one person. So it's not even 1%, because I didn't get one from the streets that I walk. It's probably just 0.5%. So again, I don't know how this thing is being distributed.
Thank you. Anthony?
Yes, I'm here to speak about, I'm a senior, and I'll be 70 this year. And the thing is that when I received information about this trash pickup going on a tax roll, I was really upset about it. Because the fact is, it gives to me, whenever they want to raise rates, and that, that's going to be something that it's going to be on my mortgage that I'm paying now, and which I disagree with. I pay my, I don't know what the rest of the, people in Lancaster do with their, how they pay their taxes. But with me, I constantly pay whatever I have to pay for trash pickup. And yet, to see it on the tax roll, I disagree with that. And I know a lot of people here probably do too. So I'd rather pay it the same way I've been paying it and what have you. And those, the gentleman that was here earlier, he said, well, you know what? It's up to the city to get those who don't pay their fair share. But I do pay mine. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Anthony.
Mm-hmm.
Kathy Ledgerwood?
you.
Welcome.
Vice Mayor Crisp and council members. I didn't get one of those things in the mail either. And the first I heard about it was 2 weeks ago when I was watching online. And when I heard the figure of $400 increase to my property tax for this additional thing to carry the trash over to Bakersfield, with the way you guys like to make money for our city, why aren't we doing it here and then selling the methane gas? Hello?
We did look at that, but it's not $400. You're aware of that, correct?
Oh, it's not on our tax rolls?
It's not $400 extra.
How much is it?
It's 44 something. What is it, Jason?
I don't think so.
You guys, let's keep it quiet.
On the standard rate, it's going to be $4.12 per month, which is
That's-
$48 more per year. The tax bill, you are no longer going to pay a waste management tax bill. That fee you pay to waste management will be on the tax bill, so it'll only be $48 a year more.
On my taxes?
You guys,
Or on
let's
my
keep it down. It's her mic right now.
No, out of your pocket, you currently pay $33.43 a month,
Right.
okay? It's going up 12.75%, which is an additional $4.12.
Right.
Instead of that paying quarterly, that'll be put on your taxes, you'll be paying it through your tax bill.
Why?
There-
Why?
As I mentioned before,
Okay,
there are
you can-
benefits.
You can address.
Oh, okay. Why would we go from paying a quarterly bill to having you implement it onto our property tax where it becomes a lien? I don't understand that.
Well, the reasoning behind it, you can agree with it or not, but the reasoning behind it is there's a large percentage of the people that do not pay their bills because they're you guys, if you interrupt one more time, I'll have them remove you. Now stop. Sorry. So the reasoning behind it is that there's a large percentage that doesn't do it. We're getting a large number of trash that's put into the desert. And that trash that's put into the desert are people that are coming here, they're renters. They don't add the trash when they should be adding it. They stockpile the trash in the rent, and then they leave. And then that is taken out to the desert, and it's stockpiled out there. We already have 2 4-man crews that go out to the desert to do it. So we spend millions of dollars to try and clean it up already. So it's not that the city isn't trying, but it's getting way, way ahead of us because, and we know that it's partly to do with the homeless, but it's getting behind that there's a large number that do not pay their bill.
I was reading on that section that was in here, 5473 or 5471, and that's that lawsuit that came to pass. And it was specifically to put on the tax rolls those who did not pay, that were protesting the not paying of trash. And so that was the result of 5471, was that they got the assessment on their tax bill, not everybody. And so I don't know why we're doing this uniformly across the board when there are upright citizens that are paying their trash bills and not needing it to go on our property tax.
We have to take it's just not one problem that we have to solve. So what we're trying to look at is we're solving several problems. When we go into a waste management contract, there's several problems. It's the hours that they keep, all that. So when we open up the contract, we have to go in there and we tell them, we want you to stay open later on Saturday. So instead of closing at noon, we're seeing that a lot of people, they rent a trailer, they have a truck, they fill it full of trash, they go to the dump, they get up there about 1 o'clock and it's closed, okay? They have a rented trailer, their truck is full of trash, they take it to the desert and they go out. So that's another segment that we're trying, there's multi-problems that we're trying to solve. This is the best way for the entire city to solve those problems. that we came up with. So I apologize, it's not the best that, or that it doesn't suit everyone perfect, but it's what we need to do because of the major problems out there. And again, this is something that we didn't desire to do this. It came from the state down to us. And it's not something that we want as a city, that we're imposing on you from the city. Putting it on the tax rolls is from the city. And that's to solve the other problems. We have to do that to get enough money in there to solve those problems.
And that
Those
will be
people-
how much annually will go on my property tax bill?
Well, the total waste management bill will go on your tax bill. It'll be, if you're a standard customer, it'll be $37.55 per month will go on your tax bill. But it'll go on, and you'll pay it in your annual taxes or your
Per month, oh, okay, so
Yeah.
we've been paying,
quarterly.
Yeah.
The amount you're paying is the same.
Okay.
Right? You're just paying it differently. Nothing changes with the amount.
okay, and then that will be a lump sum into property tax?
Yes.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you. Diane DeFlippo? Welcome, Diane.
Oh, I had one more thing. One second. And that was that we had to have a majority on our protest, is that correct?
Correct.
Well, in our last election, we only had 16% show up to vote. And so we're requiring more than that for this. That's all.
Good evening. I'm going to read my statement since I do better reading than saying
Sure.
it outright. We moved to the Antelope Valley, specifically Lancaster, in 1972. Lancaster at the time had 2 refuse companies. We chose a small company rather than Waste Management because the service fee was less and the service was much better. Many years later, we were informed by the city that we were giving Waste Management a contract to service Lancaster, and that was that. We had no say. Fast forward 50 years, 2022, and now the city council is again deciding to keep Waste Management and charging us seniors, well, before we heard about it, 44% increase in our service and a higher rate for other customers too. You also informed us that the charges are going on our tax bill. Unacceptable. Why we did not hear a word about this until the deadline of July 1st? Why didn't you investigate other refuse companies that give better prices and service? Your reasoning for having it on our tax bill telling us that renters are not getting service, that can be taken care of by creating city ordinances. But when I see piles of garbage and furniture, which I did this week when I did my trip, dumped right next to Waste Management on Avenue G, that tells me Waste Management is controlling when we can enter and dispose of our trash properly. Why are we allowing them to tell us when to dump? When I lived in New York, our dump was open and still is open during the day for everyone that lives in our town. Legally, long before the deadline, we should have been sent every homeowner a letter, not a postcard, explaining what you were proposing, and follow up with meetings to discuss findings. If it's legal to have a private company on our tax bill, then it needs to be on a ballot to be voted by on every household in Lancaster.
Diane, you need
All-
to wrap it up.
Yeah, all I have to say is take control of our city. Don't keep crying that it's about Sacramento. We know that. But you are here, and we need your help for us, not Waste Management. Thank you.
Thank you. Patrick Satzer? Yeah. Welcome, Patrick.
Good evening. I am a PhD atmospheric physicist. I'm a retired director of Northrop Grumman Advanced Technology Development. First of all, there was a statement made about SB 1383. It requires a 75% reduction in organic waste by the year 2025 to get a 40% reduction in methane. The main reason is to get the methane down, and they were restricting the waste. The current waste, organic waste that's in the landfill is generating a lot of methane. You're not going to stop that. You need to put extraction techniques out there. Waste management does this. The other thing I don't see up there, the restaurants, 70% of your food waste comes from cafeterias and restaurants. 70%. For example, a single average restaurant generates 2 tons of organic waste a week. A single family dwelling is less than 5 pounds a week. So the main interest here is if you want to get your waste managed, your organic waste down, is get it from the restaurants. They collect it already. You could meet this bill 75% by just getting the restaurants to do it. The other thing is the fee increase going on the tax bill. The there's Proposition 218, Section 13D, specifically requires direct assessments to go to a vote. And that vote is required to put it on there. We will sue you for that. That's Proposition 218, Section 13D. Go read it. So the point is that there's technology available to reduce methane gas. You can get it down to the state's level by 2025 by putting in the technology at the landfill. You wouldn't have to do anything other than take the waste from the restaurants and large generators, schools and cafeterias. Thanks.
Thank you, Patrick. Maureen Parnett. Welcome.
Hi, thank you. I guess I'm just echoing what everybody else has been saying. I hadn't talked to a single person in my neighborhood or anybody I talked to that got the postcard. So nobody's voting. You want us to vote in the fine print at the bottom. I sent my letter in, but I know probably 39,000 single-family homes aren't mailing it in because they didn't know about it. So I don't know why it can't go on a November ballot. Do you want to put this on the property tax bill? The November ballot, everybody will see it, everybody will go vote, and it seems to me like the sensible way to ask residents, what do you want? Not a fine print at the bottom of this postcard. So, I don't know. I did all my calculations. I got my bill in the mail, and I said to my husband, what if I just mailed my bill in? Now you're talking about going back to July 1st, and he says it's going to be lower. Right now, I got my bill here, $27.03 a month. That's what my bill is from Waste Management in yesterday's mail. $27.03. So I don't know where your numbers come from. Plus, I pay a year in advance. Since I've been here for 38 years, it started way back with Waste Management. You pay a year in advance, you get a 5% discount. I guess I'm not getting my 5% discount anymore. That always added up. Everything added up. So when I calculated what they sent me 2 days ago, my bill would be $308.14 for the year, which does not match what you have. So, and I've been hearing people say, you know, if a good way not to get voted out, a good way to get voted out is if this all passes, we're all saying, we got all your names. I voted all you guys in, but not anymore.
Roberta McCullough. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm going to say again, why are the cities not fighting this horrible, stupid SB 1383? If you can't fight it, why can't you get a stop order? You get other agencies get stop orders on stuff that's supposed to happen. If the state insists it has to be done, then the state should pay for it, not the cities, not the people. They should use the money they already have. I also want to know, how can it possibly be legal for a for-profit monopoly company to be on our property tax. And people who don't pay their trash bill most likely don't pay property tax either.
Just to clarify a few things, we did write letters as a city. I wrote them personally to the state to protest it over a year ago. We sent it, one from the city with the mayor signed it. We've been trying to stop this for probably 2 years now, but it was put upon us that the fines are coming and everyone is saying that we'll be fined if we don't do it. So it's not, we've been sitting or hiding this. We've been fighting it. It's had several front page news stories on it in regards to it. So it's been out there and we have been fighting it. We have not been successful. Yes, ma'am.
Can you do a lawsuit against the city for it or something like that to get all the cities to fight together?
We can. We haven't been successful when we do that. We have another problem that we tried to do that with. We tried to do it, Mr. Grooms is familiar with it, that we tried to do it with Cal Water. It's just not, we don't get much success. We're a medium-sized city. Here, we can hold our own weight with doing things that we need done, but when we get this imposed upon us, and this was imposed upon Waste Management that has to impose it onto us. We did look at the different things to build different anaerobic digesters, which will create the gas, so we would have it here. That would cost approximately everybody $12 instead of $4. We looked at putting it, the gas would go directly into the pipeline and we take it. We wanted it built. We're working directly with Palmdale to do it. Unless we do it both together, it's not cost effective to do it. So we are working together to do that. But they put it into the pipeline, which is a 25% decrease in payment to them. So there's a lot of things we've been working on and trying to do, but when you look at how low ours is compared to the rest of the cities, anywhere ours is at $4 and some pennies, and some of them are $12 that they're doing for the same thing. So I can't say it's good, but it's better than most. So we'll move on. Michael Russo. Welcome, Michael.
Oh, thank you. I'd just like to start with reiterating that chart is inaccurate. I just got a trash bill, $79.98 for 2 months, so I don't know where 3230 is coming from. That being said, both yourself and Vice Mayor Christ, you both used justifying the rate increase because people don't pay their taxes or don't pay their trash bill. Okay, obviously raising the trash bill will impact more people not paying it, but that's beside the point. All right. You also said the city of Lancaster. You justified this raise because of the illegal dumping. The city of Lancaster, with your words, spent about $2.5 million last year to clean up the desert. Are we now, as a city, going to be absolved of that responsibility and now pay Waste Management to clean the desert and save that $2.5 million?
Waste Management is already responsible for cleaning up the alleys. They have a lot of responsibility that a lot of people don't realize that they do. And I'm not justifying, I'm saying we have a rate increase that it's imposed by the state on you. We're not imposing it on you, so don't confuse the two. We're not imposing this rate on you. The state is imposing it on us, and we're transferring it to you.
But both of you use the excuse that people weren't paying their trash bill and they're dumping in the desert. And then you brought up that we pay as a city $2.5 million. So now as a rate increase, are they now going to be responsible for cleaning up the desert? It's a simple question.
No.
Okay, so regardless of the rate increase, we're still going to spend as a city $2.5 million to clean the desert.
Or more.
Or more. Why are they getting the increase?
Because it has nothing to do with that portion.
Which I would go with, except you both use it as an excuse. All right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. David Paul. Welcome, David.
Mr. Vice Mayor and Council, good evening. You know, I love a good public event. Nuance is everything in life, and I personally am sure, and I would like to say this to the crowd, both the Vice Mayor and Raj Mali have just entered new 4-year terms, so if you're going to vote them out, it's going to be a little while. But these are good guys. Mr. Mann, I have much respect for all of you, and I know that you're trying to do it. But for me, what I hear you saying is that the homeowners are going to help pick up the slack. Okay, I like to pitch into the city and do my bit. But I would like to see, like Rex always talks about, measurables. So if we're going to pay this extra money for someone to magically clean the desert or stop the illegal dumping, does this mean that we can count on it stopping? This is one of those things. I saw one of the people running for mayor of LA talking about the need to get in there and fix the homelessness, and they're going to clean it up. I would love to see that, but these things never happen. So why put that bill on senior people that have their homes and are possible tax lien once you have it put on their taxes instead of just paying waste management? The nuance is understandable, but people don't need their property taxes burdened with more when we're fighting to just keep what we have now. It is not fair that it's put upon the people that do the right thing, pay their bills, and own their homes. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, David. Friend Sarah Saris. Someone get the podium for Fran, please.
How do you do this?
I don't want to put you in reverse all of a sudden. That might be scary.
Welcome, Fran.
Well, thank you for having me, Vice Mayor Chris, and council members, staff, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Fran Saris. I understand that this situation has gotten out of hand for one thing, but the other thing is, I know the state has put this problem upon us, but in my own thoughts and thinking, they have not divided the responsibility even amongst all the citizens of California, because this is a California situation, correct? So, and yet they're giving the burden to some cities higher than others, and who's going to suffer the most is the homeowners. Here we are paying our taxes as high as they are already, and they're imposing another one, and instead of putting it on, like everybody's talking about, on our tax bill, because like they say, it's a lien, and if you don't pay your taxes, you can lose your house for $35. But if you pay it on a quarterly basis like we are supposed to, which everybody seems to be doing for the most part, then it works out better. Last time we had this meeting 2 weeks ago or so, I thought about it. Oh dear. Anyway, I feel that it's a few dollars is okay to be paid, but a lot more than that. I'm very worried about our seniors. As it is, their rents are going up high. They barely can afford that as it is now, and they don't have extra money. Our Social Security is not going up. We don't have any extra where to go to get extra pennies. Anyway, thank you very much. God bless you.
Esther Crowell.
Thank you.
Now I got you trapped. You can't move.
There. Now I can get out.
There you go.
Welcome, Esther.
Hi. My thing is that I would rather keep it at a monthly option on paying rather than having it as a county tax or anything like that, because of it costs you to have to come up with more money all at once rather than if you did it in increments. And another thing too is, like the lady previously mentioned, our Social Security doesn't go up, and it does not keep up with what the inflation rate is.
That's for sure.
And I don't think that having to pay through the taxes is going to help us any. Okay, that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Esther.
Hi there, my name is Bill. She's my boss, my wife. Hey,
Okay,
I
Bill,
wanted to tell you
Do you have a
something.
speaker card?
Yeah, it's in there.
Then wait till I call you is it Bill?
Yeah,
Crowell?
Kroll,
Okay,
yeah.
go ahead.
I just wanted to say that I'm tired of everything going up. It's griping me. And you're going to give it to a big company, Waste Management, congratulations. That drives me nuts. Another thing too is, if you have rental property, they're not going to separate the trash. Those people are too busy dumping it out in the desert, probably. And I'm just tired of it all. And every time I turn around, it's more on our backs, the seniors, as well as everybody. Now, I want you people to kind of wake up and realize that you need to help us rather than help the big people up and, like I said, I don't have all the answers. I really don't. But I know one thing. A gallon of milk isn't $2 now, it's $5, okay? This is griping me. And it seems like every time I turn around, somebody's trying to get to us. I better let you go, okay? Thank you.
Bill, thank you. Jason Snyder.
Hi there, good evening.
Welcome.
Thank you. I just have a question. I was kind of hoping that maybe someone from Waste Management would speak up and answer this, but it might be a little too early, but the rates, they're going up. There's nothing I can do about it. I don't necessarily agree or not, but I'm wondering if anything is going to be done to help with the customer service. You look at like Google's reviews, Waste Management, it's bad. Their service is bad, their customer service is bad, their phone service is bad. I understand people are dumping stuff out in the desert, but the hours at the dump are bad. You try to do a bulky item like a mattress or a couch, that's usually like a 3-week, sometimes 3 months during the peak of COVID turnaround time. You can't have this stuff sitting out at your curb or on the side of the street for that long. And I'm just wondering, if you do put this on the tax bill, every week when they don't pick up one of our trash cans, do you want me to be calling you guys? Or do you want me to still go through Waste Management and get no response whatsoever?
We did talk with them about their customer service. They are upgrading according to Waste Management. We'll see.
Okay.
We'll try to get you better service.
Okay.
We'll try to get you, we had a lady talk about back when we had a choice to do trash service.
Okay.
I was fighting for the other person and not Waste Management. So
Okay.
it was when Palmdale Disposal, Antelope Valley Rubbish, Wildfill Arkland
Okay.
was here, and we had to, Waste Management has since bought them out and we do have a franchise with them, as we did with Jones Intercable and all the people from then. So
Just one last question. I know
Go ahead.
going through the dump process, we now get, I believe it's the 2 vouchers a year. If this does go onto our property tax bill, are we going to be able to go to the dump any day we want, as much as we want?
No.
Okay. Kern County's free dump. You can do that, but it's on their property taxes as well. So if you've checked into some of these other counties around, how come that hasn't been addressed?
We did. So it's,
So one of the things I want to respond to you, just so that, I don't know if you're going to get a peace of mind, but obviously, we go into negotiations in this particular case with the contractor Waste Management. And I know this doesn't make anybody feel any better, but some of the sharing tonight gives us that greater insight, so when we get ready to sit down with Waste Management again, to be able to bring up these concerns. I know that everybody here tonight is focused on, in this particular case, it's almost like a double whammy. You know, we're getting hit with the 3.5% increase on just the trash bill, which, again, a negotiated rate with Waste Management. For us to tell you, I know it fell on deaf ears when the city manager said across the state, it's running as high as 8 to 10%. So you might say, well, gosh, these guys are not doing their fiduciary duty. I have a different point of view, my opinion. I think we've been pretty resourceful in executing that lower rate of 3.5. The state mandate, we can't change that. I know that there's a lot of conversation. The way I like to change it is not vote for the people that are running the state of California. That's how I like, because ultimately, the governor signed this into a bill of law. So you got to keep that in mind, because there's a lot of people here that get heated. And my frustration is, essentially, the people that are up in Sacramento is forcing this stuff down our throat. It's very frustrating. One last thing I want to share with you. Nobody has brought up the concern that is on your tax bill. There is a sewer charge that you incur annually that's on that bill. Both Marvin and myself has chaired that sanitation district. I will guarantee you, when I sat there as the chairman, your bill went down. I guarantee you, if you look up the history, it went down under my watch. We still run, again, if we look to the south, we still run the lowest fees. So I know there's frustration here. I get it. I really do. I get it. Then we handed the reins over as we rotate through the different positions within the jurisdictions that we're assigned to. Then Marvin took over, and the same thing. We turn around, and what did we do? Marvin took over and followed my lead, and your sewer bill went down. So I'm not saying that to impress you. I'm saying that there's a group of people on this side that shares your same concerns, the frustrations. I get it, man, I really do. You know, in fact, last time around I found out there's a senior discount that I haven't been taking. So maybe I'll lighten up and pay a little more attention to the trash bill. But, and I got an education in that particular regard. But I get it, but I do want to be, you know, I appreciate all your feedback. And when it's time for us to go back into contract negotiations, whether it ends up being Waste Management or it ends up being another company, to take these concerns forward, to be able to make sure that we're even more astute, even more prudent, for you to be able to have the least negative outcome. So I just wanted to get that out there. Don't know if it's going to make you feel any better, but I do want to let you know that since I've been up here, on my watch, I have fought And I'm not necessarily somebody says, well, I voted for you, I don't know if I'm going to do it next time. I'm not sharing that with you to gain your vote. I just want to share that with you to gain your trust. That there's people up here. One of the other gentlemen, I got to speak my mind, he said, well, what about the restaurants? Tonight, we're only speaking specifically about particular property, and obviously this involves homeowners, but obviously commercial property this is passed on, and you don't even want to know what the restaurants are getting socked with, because it's just like the sewer bill. So when you look at your sewer bill and you say, gosh, that's frustrating, I have to pay that. If you took a look at the commercial side of the sewer bill, because I was involved with those too, they're paying their fair share. And it's about, well, on the sewer side, it's about 5 times what you're paying. And I'll guarantee you what they're going to pay for the waste stream on food waste, it would knock your socks off.
Whose jurisdiction was the trash thing?
Say it again.
You just referred to, he was.
I negotiated the trash contract. Yes, ma'am.
And I can guarantee you that everybody on this side of the fence, we're all business people. Obviously, we're all involved in different businesses. But since we've come on our watch, trust me, and I know it's frustrating. Gosh, it's the last probably 4 or 5 years here in California has been so frustrating. And I'm not trying to pass the buck. I don't want you to get, by no means, that I'm sharing with you, I'm trying to get the monkey off of my back and try to make you, I'm just telling you that there's a group on this side of the podium that is just as concerned. I hear people say, everything keeps going up. I mean, we know where inflation is right now if you just open up and read the news. And thank God we were diligent enough we didn't see the nonsense with the fuel bills coming 3 or 4 years ago. But thank God that we negotiated wisely, or Marvin did, with only a 3.5. And we're actually like the low guys on the totem pole of what's taking place here in California. So you had everybody speaking tonight. I just wanted to share with you all these thoughts that roll through my head. I know you're probably still not necessarily feeling any better, but I just wanted to clarify a couple of points that were made. And again, if you want to call the restaurants up and ask them where they're at, they're getting clobbered. I mean, it's ridiculous. It really is.
Fred Freemus? Filmus? Anyone named Fred? Last name?
Flores.
Flores.
I can't read my writing. Yeah.
Welcome.
Well, thank you for allowing us the opportunity to speak out. I'd just like to say that when we first heard about this increase in taxes for waste management, what made it confusing is that it says you get 3.5% increase from waste management. We pay that bill directly to waste management, and all of a sudden, on one hand, on the other hand, we're having to pay an increase in property taxes to cover waste management, and it's a double whammy on all of us who own property, whether it's your single-family home that you live in, plus whatever rental properties you may own. I'm on a fixed income. I'm retired, like many other people here. And even if you were working for a salary, salaries for years up until this point still have not kept up with the cost of living. So I don't see how in the world anybody is going to be able to keep their homes, or much less keep continuing to pay their rents. I mean, we got a homeless problem already. And a lot of people just bailing out of state because the taxes are so stinking high. Pretty soon, you're not going to have any tax base here in the state to cover any of this stuff. Then what happens? That's all I'd say. Thank you.
Thank you. Fred, just for the record, I agree with you on almost everything that you said. So it's a burden that goes on to the seniors. It goes on to everybody. We constantly fight that. We constantly fight. It's the nickel and dime that some people feel that we're not getting our fair share. We're not getting the benefits from it. So I agree with you. Peggy LeBon. Welcome, Peggy.
Hi, thank you. Okay, so I'm here as opposed to this increase as well as everyone else. I found out, I did not get the card. I found out from a member of our church, and they brought it to our attention, and I am here with members of Agape Community Church. Many of us are seniors, many of us are homeowners, and I have not yet heard of anyone getting a 12.75% in their Social Security or their pension in one lump sum. And it's just not fair. And this final $37.55 is still going to end up being an additional over $400 on your assessment tax bill. And does that mean that when people are not able to pay this additional money, they're going to get a lien on their home?
It's not additional.
It is additional.
It's not that
We're
much.
still getting bills, and this is going to go in our taxes.
Yeah, you will. There'll be a lien.
You want me to finish?
Is that correct? Yes, sir.
Okay. It is approximately, let's say it's $50 or less that is going to be extra. That's what they've imposed. It's $50 extra. Now, you will not get the money, you will not get a bill from Waste Management and it be on your tax bill. So you're not going to pay twice.
So when is this going to be imposed?
September 30th.
So this is their last bill. I got mine today. I didn't open it, but this is our last bill.
That's my understanding.
If this passes.
If it passes. Okay, so I'm opposed to this period because, again, and the other point I wanted to make are renters should be landlord's responsibility. The property that the landlords are renting, that trash pickup should be included and not a burden on people who are paying their single-family dwellings trash bill. You know, it seems like everything is being miscommunicated and thrown into different pots that it should not be in because, you know, with inflation, as everyone has said, we're all struggling.
Right.
Right.
I went to the Board of Realtors and asked them, and we worked with them as far as to do it. And I was with you that saying it's, you know, it should be on the landlord, it should be everything. And, but it's scrupulous people that are out there that are taking advantage of everybody. So.
And it's trickling down.
It is.
Because now we're being faced with something that you guys got hit with.
Correct.
Right, and that's not right. So that's my point. Thank you.
Thank you, Peggy. Larry Linfoot. Welcome, Larry.
Thank you. My question is simple. That $37.55, is that a monthly or is that going to be the total?
It's monthly.
Okay, so that makes it, let's say $40. That's $480 a year added to your property tax. Correct?
Correct.
Okay, next question. Does that stay that way or does it go up next year and we don't vote on that again?
The maximum that it could go up, according to the contract as of right now, is 3.5%. That's the maximum. It could go up less unless they add another provision from the state of California that says we have to do something.
Okay, what about all the trash trucks that come from other cities up to our dump?
Yes.
What
that
do they
was
get
negotiated.
charged?
They get charged a tipping fee. So that was ran through the different organizations that came up here a long, long time ago. I think they they can bring up to 300 tons
Of methane,
of trash.
of trash which contains methane or whatever. Do they also get charged extra?
I'm sure they will. They get charged.
You're sure they will?
Yes.
Will they?
I don't know the answer to that. I'm sure they will.
In other words, you don't know either.
No, I'm
That's my
sure.
question.
They're charging everybody. They're passing their cost on to everybody.
Okay, fine. Do they gonna share with the state, with the city of Lancaster, what their extra money is?
I don't think they share anything.
I didn't think so either, but they're gonna keep adding more taxes to us.
It's maximum that it can go up is 3.5% at this time.
At
That's
this
that's in
time.
the
So it
contract.
could go up 3.5% every year. When Proposition 13 only allows 1% per
On the-
year.
on-
I'm sorry, 2% per year.
On the base tax, right, and then
Yeah.
you've got voted indebtedness, and you've got additional tax responsibilities. Those are all independent of that fixed rate. So if you look in your tax bill,
Are we gonna get the vote on the this tax bill that you guys wanna put up for the $480 per year?
You are voting on it. That's those cards.
Okay,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Larry.
Mr. Vice Mayor, may I, on that note,
Absolutely.
just a reminder that if you do have a written protest to submit, please do so before the close of this public hearing. If you have not submitted your written protest yet, please do so before the end of this public hearing. Thank you.
Kathy Reagan?
Hi again. I've done some research, and I'd like to ask, is this a tax, an assessment, or a fee? This increase that's going to be put on our tax roll?
You'll have to ask the city attorney what's the name.
You
Allison?
don't know? Is it a tax, an assessment, or a fee?
Oh, it's a charge under the
It's
Health and
a-
Safety Code
a charge?
5473, yes.
A what?
Charge, C-H-A-R-G-E, charge.
Okay. On our postcard, it said if 2/3 vote against it, it won't be added to our tax roll. If 2/3 of the
Is
public.
it 2/3 or 50%?
2/3.
It's a majority protest
Right.
process. So if
It's 50 plus
50% plus one protest are
Correct.
submitted, then the council cannot approve the item before you.
Is that 50% of the parcels or people that show up here?
It's 50% of the
Parcels.
total number of parcels that was sent out.
Okay, so when I was here last time, they said they did not send out postcards to every parcel, every homeowner.
I don't think it's sent out to every parcel. It's sent out to every one homeowner. That's
Residential parcels.
correct.
To every homeowner. Okay, so you're wanting 50%, yay or nay, but I looked at the thing for the vector assessment. They sent out a ballot that was returned to them, and it was voted down. Now, is that going to be put on your, are you going to add that to our tax rolls as well? Because they need more money too.
That's the mosquito abatement district?
That's a different set of rules and requirements
Right.
than is applicable to a trash assessment.
It's the same 50% plus one.
Yes, but it's a different process.
But they sent out a ballot to
Yes,
every
and it's a-
homeowner. How come you guys didn't send out a ballot?
We did what we were required to do,
Which was what?
send the postcard out to.
Because when we came in last time, you stated that
Kathy,
you
you're gonna have
guys.
to wrap it up.
Okay, you guys took the vote to go ahead and pass this, and you had 2/3 vote yes, so you passed it already. And I asked you then, why are we here if you already passed it?
We haven't, we have not passed what we're talking about today.
Putting it on the tax roll?
And, correct.
Okay, because you have on your website, you have ordinance number 1088 that are
Kathy,
all
you're
the
gonna have to wrap it
requirements.
up.
What?
You're going to have to wrap it up.
Okay, but you've already signed it. All the requirements for the trash and all of the fines that are going to be assessed if you don't do it the right way, the
Kathy,
punishments.
Your time's up. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Well, I thought I had 3 minutes. That's what it was last
Terry
time.
Schnediger.
Took part of my time.
This should be good.
This should be very good.
Welcome, Terry.
Thank you.
Hi, Terry.
Anyway, this is basically what I think you guys should do. It's not the city of Lancaster's responsibility. It's what your responsibility, in my estimation, should be to negotiate the contract with Waste Management. I'm a bachelor, I live by myself, I have my trash picked up once a month because, and then to get another barrel for my leftover food scraps that I feed to my cat. Now, I'm gonna be charged for another barrel and I don't even use the 3 that I have. And that's something that I think that the city of Lancaster should negotiate with your son at Waste Management. Because it's just unreasonable. Take all the guys here, I'm sure they all get monthly haircuts. You don't go to the barber shop and get your hair cut and get charged for 4 haircuts. That's what's happening with me. I get charged for 4 pickups and they pick up once a month. And that's all I've got to say is I think that the negotiation should be between the city of Lancaster and Waste Management. Thank you.
Thank you, Terry.
Mr. Vice Mayor, may I make another clarifying announcement?
Sure.
Okay. If you submitted a written protest at the last meeting that we tried to have on the 12th, that protest counts. We have it, and it will be counted. If you have not otherwise submitted a protest, please do so now. There's paper in the back of the room, and you need to put your name, your address, and you protest and sign your name. There are pieces of paper for you to write those things down.
James Wooden. You guys, let's have a little bit of respect for the speaker, please. Kit, have them be quiet back there. Thank you. I'm sorry.
Good evening. My name is James
Welcome,
Warden.
James.
Pardon me?
Go ahead. Welcome.
My name is James Warden. The rate increase is not limited just to the 3.5% and the 12.75% displayed. It also eliminates discounts that are currently being provided, such as annual payment of 5%, composting of 5%, and there's others. So it provides up to an additional 20% increase in addition to this, because those don't seem to be available anymore.
Those should be available.
They should be available?
Yes.
I've seen no identification of that.
Okay.
All righty. So that quadruple increase, so if you eliminate those, the incentive to reduce the waste disposal cost is being removed. So if they are continuing, that's helpful. The increased revenue is, right now, the collection fees is all borne by Waste Management as part of the fees. So as far as all the billing, the collection, and the follow-up, the late things, et cetera, there's a large cost associated with that, which they're no longer going to have. It's the burden of the county, and they're going to provide that. So I would expect there to be a 35 to 50% reduction in our trash costs, not an increase. So there should be a significant increase if you're going to put it onto the property tax bill.
It's actually going to cost them almost $3 million to do it because they front it. They'll have no income for a 6-month period of time before they get the income from the city. So Waste Management is fronting the money for this for a period of time. So they are paying for it.
So one time up front, there's funding, then after that, it should have a significant reduction in cost.
They still have to bill and justify to the county every parcel that they bill for.
Okay, because there are less expensive methods to comply, with, especially with a small percentage coming from residential usage. In Sacramento, they're fully in compliance, and they will have a 3-barrel pickup process, and we're going to increase to 4. So they found a way to do it, with 3. So I disagree with the assumed yes vote unless you protest. It should be a negative vote by default unless you vote in affirmative. So those are the concerns that I have.
Thank you, sir.
Vice Mayor, just to clarify, there is not going to be an extra bin for this.
I know.
Okay. I've heard it a couple times. I just want to make sure the facts are out.
Yeah, the food waste and the green waste to be commingled, because ultimately that's what's creating the methane gas. So there's no value to separate
Robert
the
Wirt.
two.
Good evening.
Welcome.
My name is Robert Wirt. Let me just say I admire your patience. Couple of things. One, somebody mentioned a tax break. Thing is, you have to itemize, and I'm thinking that most of these people who are talking about having problems making their tax bill probably don't itemize, so they aren't going to get that tax break. The 3.5%, that's part of the contract, and every year it's gone up for the last, I don't know how many years, 3.5% every year. Thank you, we appreciate that. Sitting there doing monthly and charges like that, be honest, it's $450, and it's actually going to be $464 because Waste Management just increased it 3.5% for this coming year. So it's $464, and I don't know what your percentage of that is going to be, but it's going to be more. As you've heard from all these people, we've asked around. 90% at least of the people that you mailed out to didn't get them, probably because they were mailed with all the other campaign mailers at the beginning of June. If you were being upfront, you'd have put on there what that was. Most of the people that got it, that actually got it, didn't know what it was. They thought it was a mailer for, hey, we're having swimming lessons this summer, or hey, the farmers market's meeting again, those kind of things, or hey, we just won an award for being a good city. But nobody knew what it was for because it was blank. But you knew that. And then on the back in small print that made me get my reading glasses, it talks about you have to vote no. If you don't vote, it's assumed to be a yes. That doesn't sound like democracy to me, right? If you guys believe it's a great thing, then put it to a vote. And as far as the property tax thing, look, renters are going to dump any way they can. And bad landlords are going to be bad landlords. But you already said that there are mechanisms in place to take care of that. We don't need to put it on our tax bill. Then we have you between us and Waste Management and the county. And they don't listen to us now when we have a direct relationship. They're not going to listen to us when we're 3 times removed. Thank you.
Thank you, Robert. James Young. Welcome, James.
Hi, thank you. Thank you guys for being here again. I see the Invisible Man is not here again for a second meeting. Laguna must be hard to get out of this time of year. Let's talk about the card. Everyone knows. This is the card. This is a card I got today, and you could probably read it from there. Probably, right? And I think that's what most people have a problem with. This is sneaky. It's deceptive. A negative vote. So literally, I know it's cute, people are bringing in their little notes and stuff. There's no chain of custody for those. We have no idea how many you have. There's no barcode, there's no way to track it, there's nothing. And it would take 20,000 people to mail in a letter saying they disagree with this. How is that fair? Ask anybody who does these kind of mailings. If you get single-digit feedback on a card like this, you're doing good. But you want to get 50% or more? 20,000 people have to physically write in. All you have to do is put this on the ballot. Put it on the ballot like the mosquito tax. That's all people are asking for here. This is really simple. We get the state has its issues and its goals. We don't like Waste Management, a for-profit corporation being subsidized basically by us to upgrade their infrastructure so they can get the compost and make money off of that and get the gas and make money off of that. This is, I understand you are trying. You two gentlemen have been here. I don't know if you keep drawing the short straws or what, but well, I appreciate your efforts and I appreciate your work here. But people feel like they're getting screwed and swindled. This is a sneaky little deal with little tiny print and nobody likes it. It might be in the law, but it's damn sure not the spirit of the law of Proposition 218. Have some character, take care of your citizens, put this on the ballot. We're all voting in November, all right? And I'll tell you right now, you two got my vote just because you were being here, if you're even on the ballot. But let us vote on this for real. Nobody wants a $500 hit to their property taxes. That's way too much. Like you said, these people, they can pay the bill quarterly because they get their money and stuff, but just a giant hit on your property taxes might have already doubled since the Invisible Man has been in that chair. At my house, my taxes have doubled. And I don't need another 20-something% hit on my taxes. So please just let us vote on this normally, like a real issue. You can get your increase, but just let us pay it the way we were paying it, and we'll pay your 3.5%, and that's a wrap. Thank you.
James, thank you. Ward Blaze.
All right. Everybody's going to hate me. Everybody pay attention to this. When was those mailed out?
Can you address me?
What
sir?
were the dates of the mailers?
Do we have the dates?
Quickly, I don't want my time to run out.
Pause it for a
That's
second.
part of your
because
time.
I don't know personally offhand, but I will
got
find
it
out
at the
before you
end-
step down, sir.
I got it at the beginning of June. Everybody else, same? When did you vote on this? Yes, they did. I talked to Waste Management. They voted on this back in April. It's already on our property tax.
No.
That's why you all have a prorated bill sitting at home right now. It's only for 2 months because they've already put it on your taxes. So whatever these guys say is not true. Now, I'll tell you, I've talked to dozens of other cities. Their trash bill has gone from $400 to $3,000 because this is a tax grab by the city of Lancaster. This is what tyranny looks like. So to shake these guys' hands and say they're good people, you're wrong. Do your homework. Well, everybody saw me drop this. See how everybody can read this one? This is nothing but a tax grab. Remember that, because it'll go up every year, and they'll use the funds for the city.
Bonnie Witten?
My
Welcome, Bonnie.
Welcome. From everybody talking, I understand that you're the one that negotiates the contract for waste management.
Yes, ma'am.
So I have a few suggestions. Living here all my life, practically, and a lot of us are senior citizens, including you. When I called Waste Management,
I think we went to school together.
yes, you think. You know we went to school together. Anyway, I called Waste Management, and since you negotiate the contract, I found it hard that if you have a single person or just two people in one home, you've negotiated for large and medium trash. My husband and I barely have one bag of trash. So they said that you could negotiate for a smaller trash can. You would do that in the contract. So for senior citizens who you know are the same, if they're single or just a couple, we could pay less for that trash and save ourselves some money. And down the street, we have 6, 7 adults living, and their trash is all over the place. Well, they need an extra, extra large trash can because their trash ends up in the streets by the crows in the desert. They're part of the problem. Is that something that you can do, is to help some of the all the senior citizens, because we don't have that much trash?
It was. We did a waste study, and on the waste study, we looked at it and what was the best rate and what was beneficial for the seniors at the time. I think Fran will tell you that we try to look out for the seniors as much as possible. We have, when ABTA start charging the seniors to ride buses, the city of Lancaster paid for the bus rides for the seniors. So we try to do what's best for the entire group. You can negotiate it into a smaller package, but it was more beneficial to the larger group to do it the way we did it.
It doesn't have to be even for senior citizens. You have single people that
I
have
understand
very little trash, because in other cities and other counties, they offer that, and it's really a discounted price that I think that if you're looking for brownie points, look at these senior citizens out here and single people, that I think that would be a great negotiation. And to this gentleman right here about how much our Costco and our grocery stores are paying, we don't care. You know why? Because you know what? Costco will raise the prices to cover their debt, and the restaurants are going to raise their bills because they're going to push it on to the citizens, people that come to eat there. So they have the means to take care of that little extra or a lot extra wherever you want to. So I would appreciate if you'd look into that, Marvin, and the fact that this big issue, I don't understand why Rex Paris is not here.
Thank you, Bonnie.
Mr. Vice Mayor, would you like me to answer the question from earlier about the mailing? The date of mailing? It was May 26th.
Okay. Darlene Hayes. Welcome, Darlene.
Thank you. I actually was here for the last meeting, and I spoke there too. So I'm going to speak again because I don't think we are being heard as a whole. You have way more people now. And I know for a fact, because after the last meeting, I went walking my neighborhood, door to door, people I didn't even know, asking them, had they received that? Nobody received that. They were all looking at me like, huh? What? What's that? You got that? And I'm like, my God, nobody is going to vote because nobody's going to see that. I took the time out of my day to make sure that I informed a lot of people, as many as I could, and let them know what is going on. Now, I understand you're saying it's coming from the state. Then I say get rid of the people at the top at the state. Let's start all over again. And I do also want to know why our mayor will not show up for one of these meetings. I don't care where he lives. He's supposed to be our mayor, so he should be here. And as far as seniors and anybody else going, why is there not, you say there's ordinance, okay, well, enact the law in the city of Lancaster that if these people who are renters are renting and their landlords are not enforcing the rules and making them abide by the same rules that we have to pay our bills for, then use eminent domain. They've used it all along in the state of California to take property from other people. And you can still do that and make sure, hey, if y'all don't enforce the rules, then we're going to take your property. And you have waste management people sitting here throughout the crowd observing and watching, but they're not going to do anything. They're taking notes, and they want to know who we are. And I don't mind letting them know who I am because I've served my country for over 21 years, and I am an American citizen that is proud to stand here and tell y'all that this is completely wrong. Let us vote. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else in the audience like to speak on this issue?
I have a question.
Okay,
All right.
real quick, I don't want to open it up to,
No, it's on the bill, trying to figure it out where it says 32, 30 or whatever it is. My bill was $98. So do I add, when I get the next bill, is going to be on my taxes 98 plus that number?
I don't know why your bill was that much.
Well, it's for 2 months.
3 months. Well, it's 3 months of a bill, correct? Of 32?
Yeah, I don't know her bill, I hadn't seen her bill, but what's gonna be on the tax roll is, if you're a standard single family, it's gonna be $37.55 times 12. That's gonna be on your tax bill, and you're not gonna have a waste management bill anymore. If you're a senior, it's gonna be $29.19 times 12, and you will never receive another waste management bill.
Okay, so, except I don't have to worry about the $98, I just worry about $32.20 or whatever it is. I don't have to
The most recent bill you received, you should pay, right? If you don't get any bills, don't pay them.
Could you send out a mailing from the city as to what that amount will be at the end of the year on our tax roll?
You will see that on your tax bill.
I mean, prior to then, so we can start seeing it.
Yeah, you're seeing it, and it's $37.55 now. Instead of paying it quarterly, you're gonna be paying it twice a year on your tax bill. The same amount.
The card that the people saying that they got from the city of Lancaster, it says $500 and change, and they said it's gonna be $55 and change every month.
The card says $450.60.
Yes, sir. Can you stand up so I can hear you?
The Franchise Tax Board has already approved this. Okay? They have to submit it to the auditor, okay? Normally they take and they do 2 public meetings. The first one was when we were here the last time. This is the public meeting they're supposed to do the second time. Because I have friends that work for the Franchise Tax Board, and I talked to them and asked them to look it up. It's already been approved.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Secondly, okay, when they put it on our tax bill, you can get a lien on your property, they can take your property, and guess who do you think will be?
Okay, thank you, thank you.
Who do you think will be the person who wants to
Thank
buy
you.
it?
Okay, I don't want it to get out of hand. I try to open up and do it. This is counted only as one public meeting. It hasn't been approved yet. We're going to vote on it here in a minute, and we'll go from there. Jason, we worked on some stuff prior to this, as far as for the seniors. What did you come up with?
Yeah, you had talked after the last council meeting about looking at some options as relates to softening the impact with the initial impact. We looked at, from a staff perspective, there's a couple ways to do that, in gift cards and other ways like that, to rebate from other city funds to help soften that blow. We also have opportunities from a nonprofit perspective to help in some of the illegal dumping, cleanup, things of that nature, where we can sponsor nonprofits to pay them to help clean up. So there's a number of different tools that we can use to help soften that impact.
Okay, if we make a motion, do we need to put that in the motion for it? Or you just, if it does pass, are you going to include that?
I think that's been direction to staff already. I don't think we need it in the motion.
Okay.
And we do need to make sure that everyone who wants to submit a written protest, please do so now, because I'm about to ask the vice chairman to close, excuse me, the vice mayor to close the public hearing, at which point we will no longer be collecting protests.
While they're coming up, yes, sir. I do not. Yes, sir.
A very simple question.
Stand up
I'm sorry.
so I can hear you.
The 3.5% per year for the contract, how long is that contract for?
I think it's for an additional 7 years.
Okay. And in the event that they get a new state mandate, how is the city going to handle increases above that 3.5%?
Probably the same way. We would have to go out with a 218 vote. That's the way the state has mandated. Ken talked about the sanitation district earlier. That's the way that all the state county agencies have to do it.
Do you think as representatives of us, you could consider a more clearly defined vote rather than these mailers? In the event they're gonna go above the 3.5%, that we would expect to see a mail-in vote like the mosquito?
I think we would clearly do it differently
Okay,
next time.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir.
This gentleman here, and you also stated that a large percentage of people aren't paying their trash. What is that number? You both seem to agree, but
It's
just,
between
that's pretty
16,
general. Is
it's
it
between
1%?
16 and 18%.
16 to 18%.
It's a large number.
Why aren't you enforcing the existing codes?
We do.
Well, why are we paying for this? I mean, we'll pay the bill. No
Okay.
one wants it on their tax bill.
Not-
It sounds like it's already done.
I just have one more short.
Okay, one last question, then I'm going to close the public hearing.
Per
Stand up, please, so I can hear you.
5471 in our state, and you said you looked at the legality. That lawsuit was about those people who had not paid their trash bills and sewer bills, and then it was imposed as a tax, a property tax. Why aren't we putting that property tax on the people who are not paying their trash? Why are we putting it on everybody? That's not how the law was written. It's written for those who didn't pay. Just letting you know.
Thank you. You going to make a motion?
We
Okay.
do need to close the
I will
public
close
hearing
the
and then
public hearing.
tabulate. Whoop, wait. One more protest. Okay.
Okay, I will close the public hearing now.
All right. Mr. Vice Mayor, at this time, it would be appropriate to allow the city clerk to calculate the number of protests we have and then come back to this item, if you're amenable, or we can take, how long do you need? You have the number already. I will take that back. What is the number? We have 419 protests, which is less than 50%.
Oh, see.
So you may move the item that is on the agenda for Resolution 22-45. It does require a 2/3 vote of the membership of the council, which would mean unanimous tonight.
So what about the other ballots?
Did you close the public hearing?
Yes, I closed the public hearing.
So I'm going to go ahead and make the motion. There's a lot of frustration. You heard from Marvin. Moving forward, if we cross this bridge again, obviously it's a learning curve, but definitely, I know from my position, we can do better and have more clarity moving forward. So with that, I'll make the motion to adopt resolution number 2245.
I second that.
Okay, we have a motion to adopt Resolution 2245. Let's vote. It passes with 3 yes votes. So we're going to stand in adjournment for 5 minutes and allow you guys to yell at us.
To the moon got tested here, ballistic missiles tested here. There has been a long tradition of the aerospace industry here in the valley.
When I was 9 years old, my dad took me to an air show at Edwards, and an aircraft flew from behind us, and it seemed like it stopped in midair, turned around, and did something that I thought was impossible to do. And he said, I work on that airplane. And from pretty much that moment on, I wanted to be an engineer.
We always call the mechanical engineers the do-it-all type individuals. So whenever we can find a mechanical engineer, we're going to pick them up. That's a really good quality candidate. But also for electrical engineers, we have to work on the boards, the circuitry, and the system level that we're going forward with too. So we see a growing need for the electrical engineers coming out of this AVEP program.
You know, an engineer with 30 years of experience, there's no way you can beat that. And experience in the engineering and teaching fields, you learn much more working on the job than you do in a classroom.
I honestly believe that the level of education, the quality of education is just that much higher than any other similar institute.
The faculty here at the AB campus just spoil us, which is great. They have experts from the main campus as well as industry experts like from Lockheed Martin or Northrop. They also bring people from the base where they actually show us how real engineering works, and this is why we do what we do.
You can tell that they care here and they want you to succeed as much as they have succeeded.
I feel like we get a large support from the faculty. They're there to answer our questions. If we have ideas, they're there to listen to them.
We're one of the few programs in the world that can say they're bringing industry people into and are as involved in the program as our industry people are here. They're looking for our people. They specifically want local people for those interns, and we provide them the highest quality that we can to satisfy their needs.
If someone would have told me in high school, like, yeah, you're gonna find a job in renewable and like you're gonna like it, I probably like hippies, you know.
What's exciting about solar is how quickly the industry is growing.
We can use printing-based technologies to produce a complete solar cell. We'll be able to make it cheaper, better, faster.
After I lost my job in automotive, I actually listened to some of my coworkers' advice to look into wind turbines. You know, it was a new up-and-coming thing, and my circumstances aren't rare. People are going through the same struggle. They worked in automotive, trying to find a new niche, you know, trying to do something different. And so a lot of reinvention going on.
We're up on Garfield Ridge. This is the area that we're hoping to get some turbines at. There's a good number of us that want to.
Cycles and interviews and all the fun stuff that comes with wildland firefighting in a hiring sense. So we have a couple options for these students. One of the first options that is made available to these students, and if they're the top performers and they do very, very well since space is limited, they have the opportunity to join the Marauders fire crew, which is a program here at Antelope Valley College. It's kind of a joint venture between AVC and the Inyo National Forest.
So the crew cohesion is one of the #1 things that brought me here. We honestly care about each other. We get to know each other. We spend time, we put our lives on the line out there. And I know the guy standing behind me will have my back as much as I have his.
You know, you'll hike farther than you ever thought you could, and you know, you might get poison oak, you might get bug bites. It's hot, it's dry, but honestly, at the end of the day, and when you're laying down and you're gonna go to bed on the dirt or whatever, you just feel good and you feel like you accomplished something and you pushed yourself. And the cool thing is that you did it with, your family basically. Basically, you kind of become a family with the crew because you just spend so much time together and you get to know them. And I know some of those things I said doesn't necessarily sound like fun, but it is fun.
But it's that personal satisfaction knowing I may have lost 10 houses, but I did everything I could to keep our crew safe, to keep the other firefighters safe, and the public safe. So finding satisfaction in there, we have to dig deep, but we find it.
Watch for people crossing. It's not just a sign.
Kids don't care about the race. They just want to have fun together. We can learn something from them.
Oh wow, this is gonna be so... I am so sorry.
Happens to everyone.
Drivers, turn right when everyone's safe. It's not just a sign.
LTV is brought to you by Learn for Life Concept Charter Schools.